Hello. Good morning. Welcome to another ESP to Study stream. Today is Tuesday, May 20. It is 11:10 a.m. Eastern Time in the US. Let's go to what brings us here. You know, we have had on Friday. We have had on Friday one of these typical classic trending days after an initial rebalancing of overnight inventory. I call it typical because it closed, right? It closed at the highs after some rebalancing of the long inventory from the whole day. But something happened here after the close. We have this really narrow bar here, right? Which was something we see all the time here, like this one here, this one. And what we got here after this is news. You know, the mood is downgrading, U.S. credit, and we have this sell-off here. You know, somebody spilled the beans because that announcement was after 5 p.m. right? But you know, there's always out there that knows something, and that gives us 100% short inventory for or to start the week. And the week starts, you know, what we have here is short coverage. This one here is short coverage. The market opens and never look back, right? And it gave us another trending day, yeah, with a late pullback low in J period here, and we will see, or we have seen this happening all the time, right? After significant breaks or rebalancing or short coverage like this, there is these ones are usually followed by rotation. In this case, we have rotational inside yesterday's value area, inside yesterday's range, and the market opening inside previous range. I know it's an advertisement for chop, it's an advertisement for rotation, but traders will, most short-term traders will not look at these pieces of information and will just be following price after they miss this rally, the short cover rally from yesterday, or after they were stopped, or they've been constantly being stopped out, or constantly short in the market because it was too high, because they saw this with this happening over the weekend. They has to go back, right? And they continuously keep shorting. No? And now they may have changed their minds, and or there's another set that is going to keep going higher, and this is what we have. Usually, what we have after a short covering day. That's part of the dynamics of the market. Now, I'm going to go now. I'll take this one out of there and have a review. Have a review of what's happening in the monthly. Now, yesterday, that short coverage rally. Look at what kind of volume it gave us. Really low. This was also another indication that we have seen yesterday. This upside here, this upside here was more related to short covering than new buying selling. If there was more volume selling, more volume buying, we would have seen higher volume here. But as you can see, volume is decreasing. But as the market keeps going higher, the lower the volume it gets. Now, check what's happening in the daily here. Now, this is something that we have talked for a long time now. Since the market was here, we have this trend line here, this lower, this part of this channel here The market is not even reaching the center of this. Every time it gets to the center, it's pulled back to the lower side of this edge. Right? And constantly going from hundreds, from 50 high 100 to 56, 59, and so on, right? And now being up here, there's another level that's been checked. This time is the 50s. I hope you have noticed that we are checking the 50s or paying attention to the center, right? Not just the hundreds, but the 50s, which is also another indication of what kind of trading is going on. Right? We have an inside bar, inside bar, inside bar with breakout to the upside. And let's go back to the bigger time frames. Look at what we have here below. We have a weekly gap. These kind of gaps are, it's something that, this is a nuance to me. Now I'm watching this gap here, keep an eye on this gap. Still, we have a trend here. I have this trend from the weekly that is translated into, I don't know if I have it. Yeah, I have it here. I think it's this one here in the daily time frame, right? Which will be kind of like around this area. Where the all-time highs are. I don't have too much expectation for today, other than maybe being a rotational day. Alright. The weekly keeps going higher. We have a B shape, kind of like a B shape here, and the monthly give us this kind of recoveries. Man, these are. I'm not saying the market cannot go higher, but it puts you in alert, right? Puts me in alert. VIX is below 20. Volatility has decreased by a lot, right? Those are the things to keep in mind while we check. And there's something also really important here. I believe is important. Look at where the 10 is, right? You have the 10 here. Have a trend line, a range here, clearly visible, and values being built below this range. Same here, same goes on the 30. Right? We have a trend or baseline here in this area, and values being built now below that area. The only thing that I think it can, this positive, kind of positive, is the dollar here that is having a range. We have a liquidation here, downside trend, the market's trending lower here, but forming a range and getting kind of closer or mechanically being sold from the 50s, which can be an indication that, that some odds to the upside may be building up here. I don't know, but this is the only thing that can, right now, can be holding the market. As for today, let's check again. I'm going to increase this thing here. Right. Look at what we are having here. Check this out. This can be misleading. This can be misleading. Just pay attention to the lows here and to the highs here. Right. D, A high, D and B. Right. Can you notice that something may be forming here? I'm not saying that this is going to be something, but for today, we may actually have the high. I think this may be a high here. This is questionable. I am carrying this area that you can see here. I will not explain what that is, but we may see some rotation from these levels here. I don't have anything. I haven't done any kind of trade today, but I expect a lot of rotation today. I was expecting some rotation, and that was within the odds Now, this highlighted area here, I got that highlighted from G here. It was actually F and G from yesterday, where there was significant trading back and forth or heavy trading in these areas here. I am using that as a reference, apart from this low here, to monitor the market. Building value below here and having some downside continuation is not negative, right? But puts the market in alert. Right now we have clearly have value inside value. It is an inside there, right? Let me close this so we can see it better. It's an inside there. This low, we have a two-day range here. Value is moving higher, as you can see. 1, 2, 3 days going higher. But this range has a center here, which is today's low here. We had an outside day yesterday, an outside day to the upside. That single piece of information keeps the market higher, keeps the market to the upside, keeps the market behind or with the trading or the traders that are moving this market higher. I am acknowledging that this short-term trading is weakening as the trend keeps going, keeps extending, but it is still to the upside. I am not going to short, have no intention to short market or into or to place any short into a market that is going higher. If any, all the trades are or were to the upside. In the past days, all the trades were to the upside. You can see that with value. Whole value yesterday, again, started building from value lower, overlapping lower to inside, and ending closing as overlapping higher. Today we have an inside day. I don't have anything more than that. And I'm doing this stream. I apologize if I do it because of that, but I haven't seen opportunities. Right? I think the opportunities will be very small today. And the only thing that I wanna, or the other thing that I want to put here is, what do we have, right? What do we have for next week? We have Chairman Powell speaking on Sunday here at 2:40 p.m. There may be something out of this, but next week, man, these guys are. Next week we have GDP, can be an important piece of information on Thursday, and PCE. We also have FOMC. I don't think there's going to be much more view this FOMC minutes on Wednesday. I think the most important thing can be PCE and GDP on Thursday and Friday respectively. And the other thing, the last of big tech earnings comes on, I believe it's Friday, right? Let me check it again. 5/27. No, next, not today, not today, not this week, but next Tuesday. It's NVIDIA. May 27, right? If I am correct, May 27. Let me double check that. I thought it was this week actually. Snowflake. We have Snowflake on Wednesday. Home Depot today was before the. I haven't checked this one. Target tomorrow. This is consumer discretionary. You have PJs. Into it maybe. Yeah, it's next week. We are more on the consumer side this week. Right. Now, tempo has been very slow. Yesterday tempo was really bad, man, really bad. That's another indication of short covering. Let me show you my trading screen. Just a second. I think that's display number 3. Hey, yeah, there it is. This is what I use to trade, and I have this because I want to show you something else here. Right, and it is this one. Look, notice that the accumulation value here or volume here, and what we have here. We have these 3 peaks here. Peaks of bias, you can call it. If you put this together, you have something like this. And the market is building value, adding value here in this area here, right? The trade is once the market, if the market gets back in here, you can target this area here, or the market gets in this area here, you can target this. It can target this one here, with the ultimate destination being this one, right? We have this one, this one, this one. If the market comes here, probably it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop here, but see a little bit more here. Right? I'm not counting this because this is today that's adding this area here. I find this very interesting actually. I can see it better with Sierra than with window actually. This is window here. Right? It is here, but the fact that it's together with the market profiles and with my charts actually is kind of like give us kind of gets lost there. When I can see when I have it here on the side, it's better. This is an advantage from Sierra that I am just keep discovering, right? And when the market when we have this day here, the market give us this area, but didn't have volume. Right? Yesterday, as the market developed here, we have this area here. Counts takes this one. After this one is taken, the next one is this one. At one moment in time, it was just pure medium volume, right? Which wasn't that good of volume coming in, and there was high increase. The odds of rotation were increasing as the market keep going higher, but it just started to add volume here, volume here, volume here. Now you can see the lights here, right? And this thing, what this thing did, right? What this thing did was decrease the odds of the market having some sharp liquidation after or as the market was getting closer to the close, right? And the odds that the previous day, the dynamics of the previous day were going to be replay, what happened here was going to be replay, were increasing, right? Remember when we talk about how this was a very typical trending day, right? Trending day actually with double distribution, right? One distribution on the low side, another one on the upper side. Was a typical trending day, but with some rebalancing at the close going on up here. Same thing happened yesterday. Short covering, some elongation, a little bit more than short covering, no excess in the upper side here, very limited excess. And as the market was getting to the close, now we have seen rebalancing, right? Back and forth at the close. And this kind of activity, this kind of dynamic is often misleading most of traders. They think this market is too high and the market is going to come back crashing, right? To take with this low maybe, or maybe even taking this low. It doesn't matter, this is questionable. This is information to carry on, but a lot of people, including myself in the past, will give too much weight, a specific weight to this weak reference in the lower side, right? It's also half back this, half back the overnight, value area low. This super mechanical reference here. Doesn't mean it's going to go lower. Now, and today we have opening at the center. You have this range here. The main piece of information, the distribution on the lower side, and this late pullback for today, right? Let me remove all these things. Right? This is the channel, the daily. Remember the daily, how the daily is. Right? Never reaching the center, kind of like it's being pulled to this area. So this low direction. This reference here in the daily time frame chart is this one. Here. Right? This from the daily. Also, this one in the lower side is being left behind. This 21%. 21% rally from the lows, which is exactly the same amount that the break the market has had from the all-time highs. It's overshooting. Right? Many times, all these references have the tendency, or the market has the tendency to overshoot, right? To overshoot. I'm not saying it's going to come back to this one, but this is important. And this is also the lower side of this range. The base of the rally is very questionable, it's very weak. We have this short-term reference on the lower side, this late pullback low, and the most important would be this one for today. If the market builds or keeps building value in the upper distribution, keeps the market to the upside. If the market closes this distribution, for which we will have this late pullback low as first reference, the market closes and starts building value in this area, that would be a sign of change, that something is changing here, right? And that would be very questionable, very weak, because below this, basically, we don't have much here. Now, the upside, what do we have in the upper side? Before we go over there, let's take a look at the market, what the market is doing now. Did you notice what the market is doing now? This is the center of today's. Look at where this one is, where the low of the current period is. It's another very questionable reference or intraday reference being added right there. Okay, so that's one of the reasons, or another reason why I'm not looking for any. I think the risk here is very high. If you happen to have a trade either to the upside or downside, um, any kind of profits have to be locked right in, not giving Mark too much of a chance here. Now let's go back to where I was to close this, pretty much to close this day. This is question over here. Value is not building below the late pullback low, right? Remember, this lower side building value inside this area, right, is a sign of change. Building value above this area or in this area keeps the market to the upside. And before that, even if I zoom in even more, remember this late pullback low from yesterday, a low. Building value below this is potential for change. Building up above keeps the market to the upside. You know, this is just as I am zooming in a little bit more, zooming in as we speak, zooming in and in, right? And as you can see, value one is inside yesterday's value area and it's kind of like wrapping the low, you know, of the late pullback from yesterday. So there's nothing here in this market, nothing. If you have this kind of, or you have tendency to be trading all the time here, I don't know how your record is, but if any, and this is not advice, right? You know, remember I'm not doing anything here, right? But if I'm going to do anything here, I will pay attention to this range here. I have this kind of range that's forming because we have a rotational market, and there can be some back and forth from this thing, right? This one. I hope you can see it, right? And this is the thing. If you look, or if I look for a trade, I will find a trade. Right? I will find a trade. This trade usually is not going to be a good one. Good trades or good opportunities will just come out of nowhere. Right? You will be watching the market, observing the market, and we say, wait a minute, there is something here. We have had a couple, I don't remember exactly the last one that we have here while I was streaming, right? It's very, for me at least, it's not easy. It's not easy to do the stream and trade. And that's why what I'm doing is I am not streaming when I have this feeling that maybe we may have some opportunities. So here, I just want to watch the market. Notice how volume is, for example. Here, volume is accumulating, right? In this area, you got this range around the center of this inside bar. There's volume going on here, there. Pretty much this red thing, right? Let's go back to my other screen. Down this area here is the center, basically the center of today's range. Something to observe here, and this is actually calling my attention here. It's like how narrow this range is. It's just a very narrow range here. We have a very narrow range. This kind of range, when there is something that comes out of this, this may be they may have some extension either to the upside or to the, it doesn't matter what direction, but narrow range usually don't last long. Check your if you check, for example, let me maximize this. Just check this range here yesterday, before yesterday, and the other ones. This is a really narrow, even narrower than this inside bar that we have here, inside there we have here. I'm going to pay close attention to that. As we speak, this is value. This yellow thing that I have here is value. And notice what has happened now. Now value now is higher. No higher relative to 2 periods ago. It's actually moving a little bit higher. Now it's fully inside yesterday's. Fully inside yesterday. Check this. This is just, man. This is sometimes this is just. Check this out. Just check what's going on here. Do you see that? I haven't moved my angle. This is the range here. It's not this one. Oh, you can use this one as well if you want. But there's another one coming here. So if this one has moved higher, probably next one can be this one, or maybe this one here. And that will give us, this may be excess currently, right? We have excess here and excess here. I will not train. I don't try to guess what the market is going to do. But what I do is I try to figure out what the market is doing. What the market is doing. Man, I'm sorry I don't have anything else. But this is a nothing but a day. What this has been so far. It's very boring. As you can see, I'm very bored here. But when I have learned that when I have this feeling that it's very boring, and it's almost putting me to sleep. These are the days when sometimes, there are just opportunities out there that may come out of nowhere, right? Especially if this continues and we are continuous in the afternoon and we are getting closer and closer to the close. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but consider that. I have no bias here. It can be to the upside, it can be to the downside. In the lower side we have this distribution, the lower side, closing the distribution here. We have a very questionable low down here. And this area from yesterday is being used as, as basically resistance now for today's action. And this is the heavily traded area from yesterday, from this F and G. Notice, right? Notice how I carry this information, not even from J, K, L, or M, but this is from F and G. Right? There was a lot of volume here coming that took the market higher. Right? There was a lot of buying that happened when the market keeps coming lower. Every time the market took this area down, it rallied from that area as well. So that's why I have this one. But notice also this is a non-excess high, right? Non-excess oh, the last thing before I close. The 6,000 is really close. Sometimes, these round numbers, especially these kind of like millennial numbers, if the market cannot take that 6,000 out, if the market attempts to take that out and doesn't, because there is also another reference there, and that is it was March high. If it doesn't take it, it can actually bring the market lower really fast. I'm not expecting that to happen, but that's one possibility. For some contexts, you can check, Jim Dalton's weekend update for additional context to what I'm talking about. Alright guys, I'm sorry I don't have nothing else more to say or to add here, but I'm going to call it a day and wish you a wonderful trading day. Stay safe.